Penske cars are fastest at Daytona. Caterpillar is leaving the 8 car, but not RCR, and Chase Elliott is getting faster on dirt. All that and more coming up next. So first things first, we have massive sponsorship news coming out of RCR. First off, they've signed a new sponsor for the 8 car and Tyler Reddick, and that is 3CHI or 3Chi or 3Chai. I don't know exactly how you say it, but it is a hemp-based product, and it is the first CBD hemp-based product or company to achieve across the board sports sponsorship, I guess basketball, whatever. I don't know exactly what they mean by that, but let's take a look at what they said first before I break it down. This is a first of its kind sponsorship both within motorsports and within the sports industry as a whole, said Tori Galidia, president of Richard Childress Racing, in a statement to the team. We're proud of our role as industry leaders in this category and look forward to introducing a pioneer in hemp-based consumer products to NASCAR, as well as educating fans about 3CHI's innovative science-based products. The addition of 3CHI created questions about hemp-based products and whether NASCAR would allow the sponsorship. The answer is yes, provided the CBD products adhere to the sanctioning body's guidelines. According to ABC News, the CBD products must test an independent lab and contain less than 0.3% of THC in order to gain NASCAR's approval. 3Chai met this number and secured its role as an anchor partner of the number 8 Chevrolet Camaro. So that is massive news on several fronts because this is the first time NASCAR has sort of ventured into this type of territory since leaving Winston behind. Obviously, when they left Winston behind, they wanted to distance themselves from any type of product like this. So this is the first time that they've ventured into a product like this, but as you saw, they had very strict guidelines as to letting this in. Of course, several people are going to take the low-hanging fruit and say, well, this sponsor can come in, but that sponsor can't. I'm not getting into that. I've made tons of videos about it. You can argue amongst yourselves about that because I'm not talking about it unless I have to. Not because I don't care, but I'm just tired of talking about it. It was further revealed later in the day by Kelly Crandall of Racer, who was able to obtain further information about the RCR and Caterpillar deal when she spoke to team owner Richard Childress, who noted that the company will still have a sponsorship with the race team, though he said that it is not on the number 8 because the number 8 is sold out for the 2022 season. Now, a lot of people would just assume that that sponsorship is going over to the 3 car for a few races. However, RCR affiliated driver Kaz Grala recently put this post on social media, who said sponsorship and things like that are really coming together for the new season. I'm paraphrasing, but obviously you'll see the quote up there or the post. So is it possible that Kaz Grala is going to be the new Caterpillar man? Maybe he runs a few Cup Series races in either the 33 or the 29 or 27, one of RCR's old numbers that is not particularly in use right now. Or is he going to get an Xfinity ride, maybe a few Xfinity Series rides with the Caterpillar sponsorship as well? I don't know, but the timing of this is very interesting that Caterpillar, no longer on the 8 car, and Kaz Grala said, hey, we got some things in the works, and they're all basically part of the same team. So I found that very interesting news. Now, I can't sit here and say Kaz Grala is going to drive the Caterpillar car, but the timing of it is very interesting. So we'll have to keep an eye on that going forward. Okay, in other sponsor news, Built Bar has re-upped with Corey LaJoie and Spire Motorsports. They will be his Daytona sponsor, but no further details were released from that. And in other sponsor news, Ross Chastain has brought his primary sponsor to Trackhouse Racing. It is a multi-year deal. It will be the sponsor for the Daytona 500, and this is a sponsor that Ross Chastain has been with since 2020. As a Florida native, I couldn't be happier to have Advent Health join us at Trackhouse Racing. I've gotten to know the Advent Health people over the past few years and learned a lot about the important work they are doing for my home state as well as many other race markets that we visit. So Ross Chastain once again with Advent Health on the 77. Actually, the number 1. He originally used to have it on the 77. Now he's number 1. Ross Chastain, will he have consistent numbers from year to year? That's a good question. And Kevin Harvick gets a familiar sponsor. Rheem is back with Kevin Harvick. This has been a sponsorship that's been sort of off and on for 15 years. It started back in his RCR days, but he has been sort of with this company or attached to this company for 15 years. Obviously, Rheem will continue to be with Joe Gibbs, and they will sponsor the 20 of Christopher Bell, but they will also be sponsoring the 4 of Kevin Harvick as well this year, so good news for him. It will be a 3-race deal this year, and I think they also inked for next year as well. And personally, I think Kevin Harvick's car, his Rheem car, looks way better than Christopher Bell's. And the last little bit of sponsor news before we get into the rest of this, Timmy Hill, MBM Motorsports, the 66 Carl Long owned team, will try to enter the Daytona 500, and Timmy Hill will be the driver, and the sponsor will be Bumper.com. So they will be making the effort to get into the Daytona 500, and they have a sponsor for that race. And testing has gotten underway at Daytona Speedway, and the fastest cars in practice have all been Penske or Penske-related cars so far. Harrison Burton, Joey Logano, and Austin Cindric have been the fastest. Dale Earnhardt Jr. still has it. He was 3rd fastest in second practice, driving that number 5 for Kyle Larson and Hendrick Motorsports. But, as I predicted early in the season, Penske will have a distinct advantage at the very beginning of the season because this car is so much like an Australian V8 supercar, a car that Penske has raced in the past over in Australia, obviously. So I think this is going to give them an advantage out of the gate, and so far my prediction is proven right. They are the fastest in Daytona. Earnhardt, who was filling in for Kyle Larson, said, "I'm just trying to learn everything we can. It's been fun and a great learning experience, and any chance you get to get behind the wheel is even better. I'm enjoying it, and it has been fun." Denny Hamlin did not get a chance to practice. He blew a motor before he could really get going, so tough start for the Joe Gibbs team. They released the horsepower package for the super speedways, Atlanta being included in that group this year. It will be a 510 horsepower package, a 7-inch spoiler, and in this Daytona test, the cars were only able to reach 187 to 189 miles per hour. Obviously, this is the goal, is to keep them slow, so that they can't wreck or whatever. And Joey Logano chimed in and said that the cars were shoving each other pretty good and they were getting after it, even though they weren't handling as much as he would like for them to handle. Of course, obviously, in the other races, basically all the other races, they will have a 4-inch spoiler and 670 horsepower. But I was encouraged to hear Joey Logano say that the cars were not handling all that great, because I would like to see a Daytona 500 where you don't just hold it to the ground and go. There has to be a little bit of driving involved. So although the drivers might not like the way they're handling, I kind of like that they don't like the way they're handling, because if you feel comfortable in a race car, you're not going fast enough, according to Mario Andretti. And finally, Kyle Larson has some words of encouragement for his teammate Chase Elliott. Of course, Chase Elliott has gotten off to a slow start in these sprint cars, but according to Kyle Larson, he is improving. Let's listen to what he had to say real quick.
Disappointed with how it played out, but that's as aggressive and as confident, I feel like, as he's ever looked.
Throwing sliders.
Yeah, like you could tell he's been like internally probably pissed off at himself that he's like hammering it tonight. So like I said, I know he's probably disappointed and frustrated and mad, but I think everybody in the building can see like he's ramped it up a little bit in his aggression, and he looks out of control, which is how you gotta be in these midgets. So I've been having fun watching him and seeing him progress quickly over the course of the night. I think our car getting a lot better now. He's more comfortable too. So wish he could have just got through turn 1 better in the qualifier, got through turn 1 better in the start of the B, and he'd probably be in a much better spot. But I hope he had fun, and like I said, he was a lot of fun to watch, and he did a good job.
So my takeaway from this is it's going to be really hard to beat Hendrick Motorsports if they've got a bunch of talented drivers that are willing to work with each other. Because Chase Elliott is obviously driving Kyle Larson's dirt car here. But make no mistake about it, when those two get on the track, they want to beat each other more than anybody probably else. I think those two have a unspoken rivalry, even though it seems to be friendly. They have a rivalry going right now that's probably the biggest in the sport because it's sort of like an F1 deal. They're in the same car, and they're two of the better drivers going on right now, and they're both young guys. So this could be something to look forward to in the future. But me personally, I was impressed because the generation I grew up watching, they never, ever would have worked this well together with each other, especially if they're on the same team. I can't imagine Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott just like being friends and being on the same team. So this is different for me because I'm used to like the guys I grew up watching. They just did not. They didn't like each other. Maybe they liked each other off the track, but I couldn't possibly see them being this close in the public eye. All right, this is going to be a long video, so I'm going to cut it short here. If you like the content, please feel free to subscribe down below. If you got a comment, leave it down in the comment section. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.